I didn't start dating into my 30s, and I want to talk to you about some things I learned about real recently. Let's get into it. Hi, my name's Allura. I'm a 34-year-old late bloomer, and I didn't so much as hold a boy's hand or go on a date, let alone kiss anyone until I was in my 30s, okay? And when I started to experience physical intimacy, okay, and especially once we got up to the main event, you know what I'm saying? I 100% also struggled with getting to my big O, my happy. And I remember at the time, like maybe the first one or two times that I ever had smacks, I actually was so excited that I got there on my own. Like the big O, she happened. She was glorious, okay? But then there were a few times after that where I remember having like an absolute panic attack because I was not climaxing and I did not understand why. My partner had done all the things that I love. I was feeling good. I was feeling supported. But my brain was like, no thanks. You did all this work, but you're not getting to the finish line. And I remember I called up my best friend crying because I was like, what is wrong with me? If I'm having a spicy self-care moment by myself, under 5 minutes, okay? Why is it taking over 40 in some instances initially for me to have this with my boyfriend? And he was great, supportive through that whole thing, but when it got to a point where it wasn't happening for me at all, I remember completely freaking out and being like, does this mean it'll never happen? It'll never happen for me? I'm never going to have a climaxy good time ever again? And she was like, all right, Allura, I'm going to need you to take some deep breaths. She was like, first of all, you need to accept that in the instance of like vibey self-care, right? You have taught your brain one way how to receive pleasure. And that's okay. You've been doing that your whole life. When you're with someone else in a vulnerable moment, right? Something that you're a little more insecure about, you are retraining your brain how to also receive pleasure. And if you go into that experience thinking that you're going to be worried that you're not going to be able to climax, you're not going to be able to have the big O, you won't. You just won't. Because our brains, it's like, I don't know what it's like for men, but I feel like for me, it's like getting to that moment is like pushing a boulder up a mountain. And like the push can be really enjoyable. But if I go into it thinking there's no way I'm going to be able to push that boulder over the mountain, I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter how awesome my partner is being. And having a partner who prioritizes your pleasure is a part of this. Like, if you're not sure what you like, maybe that's something you explore together. If you know what you like, but you're too afraid or intimidated or shy to ask, that is something we can practice, okay? Like literally, touch me here, do this. They're not mind readers, regardless of gender or sexuality. Like your partner sometimes needs to know what you want. I recently had a conversation with the bear about how I like my boobs to be touched. And he wasn't doing a bad job before, but I was like, if you hold them differently, if you do this instead of that, I think I'm going to have a better time. You want to know what? I was. And I did. The things I admit to on this app. Which is all to say, be kind to yourself. You are relearning pleasure in a completely new way. And it doesn't mean that you will not ever, but it does mean that you need to go into it literally thinking, I'm going to have the time of my life. You also need to go into it with the plan of how is my partner going to support me in this? Because as we all know, it's not that the female climax is mysterious. It's that you gotta be warmed up. You need all your favorite things to happen in order for it to happen. And allowing yourself to be vulnerable with someone else is a hard thing. So the more comfortable you get, the easier this becomes, but also not being afraid to tell someone what you need. And sometimes one of the things, this is another good example, one of the things I need to know, even though I'm much better at being able to have my good times now than I used to be, is I literally need my partner to say, you're not taking too long. because you want to know what, my brain will start a worry spiral, and that will immediately shut down any good times I can have if I start to worry about that. Literally, the moment my boyfriend says, take as long as you need, you're doing a great job. What were we talking about? So I've been in your shoes. It does get better. This is a hard thing. It's a very vulnerable thing. And you might feel like you should know how to do this already, but it doesn't matter. Throw all those thoughts out. Make an agreement with yourself before you even start. I'm going to have my good times. Figure out how you're going to get there. Be vocal about what you want and what you need. And just give yourself grace to know that this is a scary thing. You're overcoming it. But it's exciting that you have the opportunity to after not being able to previously. So I wish you all the fireworks. I hope you get there ASAP.